I went to London for my Met Office training. We, I can't remember exactly where it was. It was somewhere, it was above a store in Boxer Street, I think, in the middle of London, you know. I can't remember an awful lot about it, except that it was sort of fairly long, you know. But to be perfectly honest, I didn't know where Fairwood Common was. But we were just posted and we went, you know, there was no sort of arguing about it. We were just told where we were going to go, and we just went, you know. Came by train from London to Swansea Station. Then I think I must have got an Air Force transport or something to the station itself. Well, we did observation every hour and coded it all, you know, into figures. And then we passed that information to group, and they passed it to the headquarters, which at the time was, I think, in Dunstable, I think. And then they passed all that information to all the stations from then on, when they got all the information they wanted. But it gave all the information to all the stations, so they knew what the weather was going to be in their area. It was all coded into numbers, into sort of groups of 5-figure groups, you know, and depending on which number it was and the position within the group, you knew what it meant. So you had just to decode it and sort of plot the charts from that. I worked in flying control, and we did 2 days from 8 till 2, and then 2 afternoons from 2 till 10, and 2 nights from 10 until 8 in the morning. Then we had a day off, I think. It's got more additions now. It was just a sort of square building in those days, you know. But it's basically, the actual building hasn't changed that much. It's got bits added on, you know. I mean, this for instance wasn't here. We just had a naffy and nothing else, you know. We used to do an observation every hour, and we used to have to go right to the top of the building for, I think we had a rain gauge up there or something, you know. So we had to go right to the top. In fact, sort of coming back now, I recognise that staircase, you know. When I say the bits added on, I mean, you know, just a sort of basic flying control, and the Met Office was underneath, was on the ground floor. And that was more or less it, you know, apart from all odd offices, you know, but apart from that, there was nothing. Well, we used to do, for the height of the clouds, we used to fill a balloon. You know, we used to have a sort of an iron hoop. We used to fill the balloon until it filled this iron hoop, and we knew how fast it would rise, so we used to go outside and time it with a stopwatch. For this particular night, the first one burst, so we did another one, and we walked outside and we walked into some barbed wire, and that burst as well. So the third one we thought, well, blow, we'll just go for it. And there was a little sort of, we used to have a balloon at night with a little sort of, almost like a sort of little cage thing with a candle in it. We used to watch this candle, and this blasted candle went out. So I was doing it with the forecast, and he said, I don't think we'll bother, we just leave it. So we left it at that. The Germans were attacking Swansea, and they were presumably sort of chased away, and they dropped their bombs on Five site, the RAF site, and some girls were killed. And we had some of the Poles in the Met Office with us because they spoke English, and a lot of the aircrew, of course, didn't. And we certainly didn't speak Polish. So I have a great deal of sort of sympathy for the Poles. They went through an awful lot to get over here, they really did. Newfoundlanders and Polish, and I think Czechs as well, Australians, there was an Australian squadron. And I've said to my daughter so often, we were very lucky because we mixed with so many different people that we've never met in the main course of things, and it's very good for you. It makes you realise that people are people no matter where they come from, you know, and they're either nice or they're not, you know. It's the one place I was ever stationed where I was really sort of completely happy, because the people around were so good to us, you know. They used to invite us into their homes, which never applied anywhere else, you know, but they did here. And the people I think the people of Swansea were absolutely great. They really were. The Liberator, well, he crashed not far from the airfield, and he was brought onto the airfield. And he was made so welcome that he sort of, when we had a reunion, he came back, didn't he? Jim Fleming, yes. And we still keep in touch with him and his wife, just at Christmas, you know.
Soon, another tragic accident occurred. On the 9th of April 1944, a 4-engined Halifax II bomber of the 1658 Heavy Conversion Unit, based at RAF Pocklington, was on a night cross-country training exercise when it lost power on both outer engines. Attempting to land in the dark on only 2 engines, the aircraft crashed onto site number 4 in the late evening. Sadly, 1 WAF was killed and several others injured. The crew of 8 were okay.
Halifax crashed and it sort of more or less flattened certainly parts of the WAF site, and a girl was killed and I don't know how many were injured, and I was injured and I ended up in Morrison Hospital with head injuries. It was quite late at night, about 11 o'clock I think. It was certainly dark anyway. The accommodation in the WAF site was built in a square, and there were 3 huts, and the 4th part of the square was the ablutions. So 1 hut was completely demolished and half of the other one, which was mine, was also flattened. I was taken to sick bay and then on to Morrison Hospital because they couldn't sort me out there. And I went to Morrison Hospital. Head injuries. I've got stitches all around the top of my head. Well, if I'd been sleeping further up the bed, I'd been killed because it just caught the top of my head. But if I'd been sort of further down, it'd probably sort of hit me in the face or something, you know. So anyway, I was quite lucky, I think. Well, we lost all our clothes in the crash, and by the time we got out of hospital, there was nothing much left. So we had what was left, and my hat didn't fit. So I didn't wear it because my head hurt. And Sandy Johnson was in his car across the airfield, and he said to his driver, "Why isn't that wife wearing her hat?" So I told him why, and the driver went back and told him, and nothing more was said, but I still trotted around with no hat on.
With the build-up of forces for the invasion of Northwest Europe, 41 Squadron left the practice camp on 24th of May 1944 for its base at Bolt Head.
Well, I was on until 10 o'clock at night, and I was on again at 8 o'clock in the morning, and during that time all the aircraft had been painted with the white stripes, which we knew nothing about, of course. We gathered something was up though, but it was done very quickly, because we used to take observations every hour, but before then we were told to take them every half an hour. So we thought something was up, you know. It was a bit strange. It must have been D-Day, I think. Well, it was the weather. I'm just jolly glad I wasn't the forecaster who has to sort of sort it out, because it was quite a short period, you know. It was sort of, and they had to do it then because of the tides. So, and in fact, I think they delayed it for 2 days or something, you know.
By D-Day, the 6th of June 1944, the troops, equipment and light aircraft of the US 2nd Infantry Division had left the Skirlage Castle camp and boarded troop transport and landing ships at Swansea docks and were heading for the Normandy beaches to participate in Operation Overlord.